This video behind me here is me just walking to the Old West Kirk at Cranesmuir in Outlander, or Curas, the real location. It was the location for the Black Kirk in Outlander. So if there's anything behind me that takes your fancy and you'd like to know what it is, let me know. Just give me a wee second here. I'm just coming in to see who's going to come in and join us. So guys, as you can see, I've not really bothered as much as usual tonight. I've just put on my wee jumper because it's getting a wee bit chilly outside. And I thought tonight we could just talk about Scottish history. So let me just see who is joining us tonight. So let's see. So Helmut's in. I'm just going to see who else is on because Helmut's sitting right there. My mum is just joined. Hi, Mum. And the point of tonight is really to see how or what you guys would like to know about specifics in Scottish history on a quick fire round and test my general knowledge. So let's see if I can get it right. So let's see how we go. So we're just going to wait for a few more moments to see who is going to join us, because it takes a few moments. And I see Ian's just come in. Hi, Ian. And we're just going to see that, and just that behind me is quite amusing. Just give me a wee second, guys. I'm just going to turn this away because that light is too bright. There we go. I don't know if that's any better. I don't think so. How do you switch it off? Is it just... There we go. I fixed it. Technology. But now that's really bright behind me there. For those on Instagram, if you can see, it'll take a few moments to get back. That's literally how bright the Scottish sky is. So anyway, so let's just see. Let's just wait a few moments and then we'll talk about my favourite period in Scottish history, if that's of any interest to anybody. And then I want to hear yours, and then I want you to ask me any questions. That's how this tonight is going to go. So I just see we've got some folks on Instagram. Hello, and we're just going to wait a few more moments to see who is going to join, and I'm going to move out of the way so you can see this wonderful footage behind me. It's just annoying that Instagram, you have to have it on portrait view, because it's just, there could be so many better ways to do this. There we go. That might be better. There we go. Hi, Karen. So let's just see who's going to come in, and we'll go from there. So Karen, just that you've just joined, you'll see this is me just walking up the path at the Black, on my way to the Black Kirk, the Old West Kirk in Curas. So this is just behind the town. It's it was used in Outlander filming. So if you're wondering what's going on behind us, it's about 22 minutes. It's not just actually the Black Kirk. I do a full walkthrough of Curas in this video. So if you'd like to watch it again or see more of it, go and see it on the YouTube page, because I did it specifically for people who might have some mobility issues, so you can see what it's like when you walk around, and I do a little chat over it. You didn't want to hear me actually when I was I filmed this a couple of months ago, and I was huffing and puffing by myself trying to get up that path through all that mud. It was quite amusing. So I didn't want anyone to hear me, because I was literally, the profanity coming out my mouth to get down there as quickly as I could was quite funny. But a lot of our guests will know it. That's why I filmed here, because you'll see it's quite muddy underfoot all the way up. But the reason why I put Curas behind us is because Curas is an incredibly important place in Scottish history. Sorry guys who are watching on Instagram, it's a bit bright. If it's a bit bright, let me know, and I'll turn you guys a wee bit. But the point of Curas is that it's also, I mean, it's so ancient. You've got about 1600 years of history just in this short little area, this small little area, this short little walk as well. The church that I end up at here is about 800 years old, so it's really amazing. And then you've got the village itself, you've got a couple of castles around it, you've got standing stones not too far away, albeit not very old standing stones, they're only about 2,000 years old. So there you go. Karen's just saying, yeah, it's a bit bright. It was a bit better with the light. Let me just see if I can move this round this way. It doesn't really help it. Okay, I might just move you guys slightly to see me over here. Okay, if that works. There we go, there we go. So you're just gonna have to look at me. So I'll just say a few hellos. We've got Sharon in. Hi Sharon. We've got Amanda in. Amanda, good evening. Good evening to you as well. I'm sitting over there. Joyce, hi Joyce. Nice seeing you again. Jamie, Anne, obviously Anne, I was talking about you the other night. So that's that. And yes, you do need to bring your muddy boots. I had this really, look at that, like big puddles everywhere. It's awful. Anyway, so the reason why we've got Curas behind us is because there's so much history with James VI, with religion. St Mungo or St Kentigern, whichever way you want to call him, was born there. St Serf set up a cell just here as well. So in terms of Christian settlements, it's a really important one. So if you're interested in Christianity, going to Curas is a really good one. You've got the abbey at the top. You've also got the monastery ruins as well in the village. And then you come down to the main Market Cross, which is really beautiful. 1588 that was put there. When you see that, you'll also notice on the back it also says 1902, and that's because it was refurbished then after apparently a pub brawl. So there's a lot of local stories in the area as well. You've got the palace, you've got the Bruce connection because you're very close to Dunfermline. So it's a really beautiful place to visit. And as you can see, I'm just coming up. You always know you're getting close to the West Kirk when you see these trees in the distance. You see these beautiful trees just there, and this is me just jumping over there. So for those on Instagram, if you haven't seen it yet, go and check out our Facebook page and or our YouTube page, and you can see this video. So there you have it, and I'm just getting spammed from my mother as we speak. One moment, she's just sending me lots of stuff. Anyway, so that's probably one of my favourite destinations to visit Scotland if you're interested in history, just purely because you have so much and it's just so pretty. You've got your camera already. As you can see, you can go for a wee walk. There's another house just a bit further down. You can go see another old church as well, not too far from the main village. In fact, not too far from here. Actually, if you just kept walking west, you would get to it. But this here, look at that. It's the old stones I just love it. And I was there on my own, walking about a creepy graveyard in the winter, as you do. But I did go and get a coffee in the local Bessie's tea room. The other good thing about Couros is that you've got like industrial history there as well, because in 1590 Couros established a mine, a coal mine, which went under the river. So if you think about that, I mean, how phenomenal is that, actually having an underwater mine? They used to dig up the coal to extract, and the whole point of that was so that they could burn it, but boil the water to extract the salt, so that they could sell the salt. Because if you can imagine, back in the, well, up until refrigeration became a real thing, salt was such a really important commodity, and you could make a lot of money off of it. So Couros became this real amazing little centre of commerce, and that's why you've got the Mercat Cross there, established in 1588 by James VI of Scotland. And he actually visited the coal mine itself and thought that they were trying to kill him, and nearly had everybody arrested. But thankfully he realised that wasn't the case. And I'm not going to go into too much detail, because I do really want you all to visit. When you come to Couros, I don't want to give the game away, because we do this as part of our tour when we're there. But the other cool thing about Couros, or not so cool, but if you're interested in witchcraft and how the witches were treated, just go to Couros. Couros is believed to have tried around 2,000 people for witchcraft around about the same time. And in the Tyne House, where you can go and see Graham's artwork, his lovely photography artwork, in that building is the Tyne House, and you can actually see the two little tiny windows in the Tyne House, and they were there to, oh, I'm walking back now, they were there to house or hold the witches, and they had little tiny windows so that the witches couldn't point out and cast spells on the people down below. So as you can see, Couros sits right on the River Forth, just here. This is the car park. I don't walk up that way, funny enough. I did the past 2 times I was there this year, because, just bear with me, I'm just going to fix my connection there. And the reason for that is it's up some really slippery, slidey cobblestones that take you up there. And as you can see, you actually have to walk through this car park. It's fine though, because this is usually where we park. And then we walk up here and towards the village up there, the main centre of the village, I should say. And just want to quickly say, we've got Shona, yes, I'm talking about Couros. Sorry, it's looks like Cool Ross, but it's actually pronounced Couros. And it apparently comes from an old Pictish, because Fife, where Couros is in an old Pictish kingdom. They believe Couros has some sort of connection with an old Pictish sort of language. And that's why it hasn't properly translated elsewhere, and that's why when we read it, it looks like Cool Ross. But the people of Fife will give you a hard time if you say that, so always call it Couros. And as you can see, that's the Tyne House there. This was this lovely big spire. Sorry to you guys over on Insta, you can't see it, but do go back. You can watch it on our YouTube video, and I'm doing a full run through of what you're seeing. So if you don't get that here with me, do go back and watch the video. I'll post, in fact, Helmut, I don't know if Helmut will post the link for you.
For what?
On this video, so that if anyone wants to watch it later, they can. So we've got Alex coming in. We went once with you, then we went last year. It's a nice village, and the guy in the Photoshop was great and showed us around. Yeah, that's Graham. Graham is really knowledgeable about the village, so if you have any questions about Curas, ask Graham. He'll help you out. So you can just see me walking along the path. So this is actually where I first met Sam Hewen, just along this path here. But anyway, that's the village. So has anyone got anything that you would like me to talk about in terms of Scottish history? I thought I would start off with a really amazing place that is steeped in history. So I've mentioned quite a lot there. It's in a slightly different way. I'm not giving you a history lecture about any single period, but I thought I would give you a place which is completely full of history. So Reagan, you've just asked me, is there a main industry in the village now of Curas? Well, I often get asked this question. Not really. It's a really small little quaint village. You've got some nice little art galleries just round here. You've got the wee coffee shop. That lady actually who just said hello there to me, she was actually manning Graham's place because Graham was away in Tennessee at the time. As you can see, she's like, where are you going? I don't know what she's saying to me at the time, but it's quite funny. But you've got the little coffee shops, you've got a pub just down the road as well. You've got the little school, so if you work in government or something like that locally, you've probably got something to do. There's a nice play park, children's park, that sits right there as well, so that's constantly getting maintained. And the National Trust for Scotland, that lovely orangey coloured building that we saw there, that was the palace. So you have people employed obviously through the National Trust for Scotland. But aside from that, you don't see it on this video because I haven't got it, but you might see it from some of our pictures on either Instagram, etc. Right across the river is Grangemouth. And Grangemouth is the big oil refinery that we have in Scotland. So it's also, it's probably, on a good day, it's 40 minutes between Curas and Glasgow. On a bad day, maybe an hour in traffic. So it's more of a commuter place as well. So you can get easily to Lothian. So you've got fairly easy access. It takes me from Curas to get back to Dalmeny, which is our pickup point in South Queensferry. It takes me about 20 minutes. So if you were, say, working in Edinburgh, you could easily drive there and get the train, and it's a 15-minute train right into the city centre. Or you could sit in traffic for the rest of your life trying to get into Edinburgh. That's why I didn't bring that one up, but it's still it's a commuter town or commuter village. There's some other things. It's also very close to Rosyth, which is a shipyard. Here I am walking up what's Bessie's Steps. I'm now going up behind the palace to show you guys the walled garden. You might actually see it in a moment. Ken is just saying, one of my favourite places to visit. My first ever visit was many years ago on my primary 6 school trip. You know, it wasn't until I was a tour guide that I ever went to Curas. That's the sad part. A lot of people don't realise how close it is. But sadly, it's often missed. But thanks to Outlander, it has actually increased the footfall in the village. And lots of people who have like the National Trust passes and things like that, it'll be on their map and it might be somewhere that they tend to stop. And the National Trust do a nice little walk around the village to go they take you up to the study. You'll see that with me in a minute. That's the walled garden. That's where Claire and Galis were picking herbs and things. And that's where the mine was, just down there. And that's the Tyne House where Graham works. I did this really quickly, guys. I mean, I was on a mission that day. But you just always have to watch your feet when you're walking here. But anyway, so any other questions Alex Culloden, you love it. Let me just see if we've got Karen. Don't worry, we're all still here. I've got them still on Instagram. Our connection kept cutting out on that for some reason. We're just actually going to come down in a moment, down this little pathway here. It's called Old Hag's Wynd, which is just further down here. Oh, that's right, Shona. That's where you would have had your whiskey with helmet. A lot of the time, our guides would come up here to get that nice view at the end of the tour. You're right. So there you go. In my clodhoppers, my boots, walking down this section here. So, I mean, I covered quite a bit there. I mean, this is the Old Hag's Wynd. I like it because it kind of makes you think about witches, and it's also where Leary was standing and hiding behind. Because this building, you can just see just beyond here. Just here. That's this one here. Coming down into the study. So this is where Leary was standing, just about here. Hi, Donna. I've actually just got your message, Donna. I'll need to reply to you. Hi, Patrick. Hi, New York. We've got... Well, I'm doing really well. I've been on my wee diet now for just over a week. I've not had any alcohol, so that's been interesting. I've been working out every single day, like hardcore working out. Cut most of the nonsense from my diet, and I've already lost 2 kilos, so I'm pretty happy. Raf, hi Poland, and just quickly seeing, no better place to have a dram. You're right. And we've got Petals Kingdom. Hi. Nice to see you. So this is me actually at the Meerkat Cross. Sorry guys, I didn't take you. As you can see, it's a residential area. This is actually the old study. That was Galis's house here. Sadly, it's residential, so there's always cars blocking up these lovely pictures and views. So that's the problem. But you can see this is an old traditional. It's run by the National Trust and managed by the National Trust. So even though it's residential, they have to adhere to certain rules, and the outside has to adhere to the 17th kind of century feel of the village. Oh, that's Leary's house there in season 4. Quite a lot of Outlander was filmed in Curas, so if you're an Outlander fan, Curas is definitely somewhere you should go rather. So there you have it. I love the story about the pink house, because everybody asks when you watch Outlander, and this is an important historical comment. When you're watching Outlander, they actually paint all the houses grey, and you can see that when you watch it back. But these are the original colours of what they would have been like at the time. So they would have been these lovely orangey, pinky colours, and that was to show off the wealth of the individual, the inhabitant. So this is a really important centre of commerce. So you can imagine there were quite a few wealthy people that were starting to live there. I'm now walking up. That's the start of the abbey that you can see there. And I'm walking up. I was going to do the full walk up, because actually just at the top of this hill, there's a nice garden, like a community garden, and just beyond that it's a little lane, and it's called Cat's Close. So that's I used to park up there back in the old days, and then my guest started complaining to me, Catriona, we don't want to walk that far. So Anne's just said, when I wrote about Curas for the blog, I was really surprised and delighted to find about the moat pit in my research. Maybe others would be interested in talking about the moat pit. And I'm going to have a quick look at your blog here. So Anne, if anyone's looking, Anne here writes, hi Scott, hi guys. We've got the Grand Whiskey Auction as well on Slainte. Anne writes for the Outlander, Outlander blog. Sorry, Helmet.
So, Kuros comes from Cillian Ross, which we just tried to translate. Graham always says it's supposed to be where the holly grows.
Do you want to come here?
But it seems to be that Ross is also a name for a peninsula, so it's the Holly Peninsula.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Helmut's just saying it should be the Holly Peninsula. Anyway, did you? I don't know. Give me a thumbs up if you heard Helmut talking there. A wee love or a wee thumbs up.
You can always repeat it.
I could. Basically, Helmut's saying that there's a thought that Kuros comes from. Ku comes from holly bush. And Ross is a peninsula, so although Kuros doesn't look anything like a peninsula.
It does, because the peninsula is a bit to the left. And the peninsula, they mean it. You also see Ross when it comes to certain places like Versailles. Anywhere
so more like a nest, like almost like an S.
I would more say no. I think it's more like a place where there is something by the water.
Okay. Yeah, basically nobody knows the answer, guys. I was going to put this in the chat now in a second. This is what I was saying. There's so many different things that come across here. Oh, it's the end of the video. On Hag's Wind, anyway.
Only 2 hours.
Yeah. Outlander, what's it? The Outlander cast blog. Just want to make sure I've got it right. Here we go. Yes. Am I right, Anne?
Oh,
please
and
come in.
remember that whole piece was filled in, so it could have been a bay.
Yeah. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. From my knowledge about it is that a lot of these words have, thank you Anne, thank you. I was just trying to find the exact one. Have Pictish origins. Oh, it's my walk around Doon Castle now, not my run around that I did the other day. So, we've just got, if anyone wants to go and see it, Anne's done a great job. So they filled it all in. We'll go into that in a wee second. There, Helmut's put the answer in, guys. If you're watching Facebook, for those on Instagram, we also have this running live on Facebook. The light behind it might be better now, although I filmed it on the same day. Yeah, it's still a bit bright. I don't know why. It seems to be an Instagram problem. Let me just fix you. Because you're a wee bit squinty. Sorry, guys. I'm rubbish at this.
You also woke the dog up.
I woke the poor dog up. Okay, there we go. Done. Fixed. Yay. Okay, back. No, that's fine. Hold on. So we've got, if you go and have a look at Anne's blog, it's really amazing. She writes really beautiful pieces. She's done Blackness. That's what I was talking about, Anne. We're talking about I was already talking about the coal mine. So anyway, we'll go into that. If you do watch it back, you can go into it and watch or read Anne's blog as well, because it will have everything that I've mentioned in a nice order, or you can watch my video on YouTube. So next, so now we're at Doon. For anyone who doesn't know, we're now at Tyne Castle, and again, the point of these videos is to show people who have limited mobility what it's like when you're at these places, because we get a lot of people who come to us who have no concept of our properties or even our roads or cobblestones and things like that. So the point of these videos that I've made is to show you guys what it's like when you are visiting. So that's what I've done here, basically just walking around the back of Doon to show you. And like I said, I filmed this, it must have been about February time, beginning of February, something like that. I had a reasonable day, so I thought I would film it and go and do a wee footage before it got really busy. This is obviously me inside Doon. And again, I do a running commentary over this video, so if you want to go back and watch it specifically. The reason why I wanted to talk about Doon is because another really amazing thing, and I see Patty's just come on our Instagram, is that I'm doing some wonderful research for Patty, and we were going over her ancestor, and not quite her ancestor, but a similar name, somebody's potentially linked, and I'll see if there is a link there, was a chap called John Witherspoon, who was one of the fathers of the American Revolution, and he was imprisoned here at Tyne Castle by the Jacobites, because the Jacobites held Tyne Castle here. And famously, when I was reading up a bit about him just before I made this video or doing this live show, and he never quite recovered after being imprisoned in Doon. But I don't know why that is, because famously or infamously, they escaped using sheets tied together and they jumped out the window. So I don't know if he was ill from being inside the castle, being imprisoned in the castle in poor conditions, or whether he injured himself during his escape. So this is just me walking about. So if you go back to watch it, I do show how bad the stairs are, because they are pretty bad in Doon. It is a medieval castle, so if you're interested in any medieval history, Doon's a great one to visit, because it's probably the best preserved medieval castle in Scotland. In fact, maybe in the whole of Europe. And the reason for that is, unlike other castles or stately homes, they've either gone into a complete ruinous condition, i.e. there is a castle not far from where we are now. In fact, there was one just down the road here, but there's nothing left of it, because the farmers would take bits of the stone to build their stone or their stone dikes that you see up and down the countryside in Scotland. But also there's another one, and because of just years of neglect, it's one wall's completely fallen in and you might have this wall left. Whereas Doon is pretty much from roughly the same period, and it still looks really good, and that's because the Victorians intervened in the 19th century. The other reason why it's a really good example of a medieval castle is because, unlike other castles in Scotland, which were continually used and lived in, especially for defensive purposes, you would constantly change them and change them and change them and change them. So you see that if you go to like Edinburgh Castle, Stirling Castle, Blackness Castle, any of these places, they were constantly modified. Even Urquhart Castle, which is also ruined, they were constantly modified in order to put up the best defence in case of a siege or attack or whatever. So that was why Doon is so unique, because after its second master, Murdoch Stewart, the next Duke of Albany, he lost his head from James I. He chopped his head off because his father had not helped him and probably plotted against his own demise, and ending up in captivity in England for 18 years. Or 18 years. For 18 years. So that was quite a sad thing, but it was never properly used thereafter. I mean, it was used, but not for the same purpose. You've got Stirling Castle just up the road, so it was never really a defensive structure anyway. So it's an important one to still visit. Sorry, I just got here. We've got a random comment here from Ian. Clan Lamentum in Kilfinnan. Is that you want to know about it, or you want to go there, or do you want me to discuss it? I was in Kilfinnan at the end of last year. Like I was saying the other night, with the Clan Lachlan is just down the road from Kilfinnan as well. So anyway, so if you go to Doon, you'll probably see pretty much to the original floor plan of what it looked like at the time. So it's pretty special. And if people, you know, if you're interested, if you like Monty Python, you've got Monty Python and the Holy Grail was filmed here. You've got, in fact, this room that I'm actually in right now was in the pilot of Winterfell. That was the Great Hall. They used the Great Hall in the pilot of Winterfell in Game of Thrones. And here I am just walking into the kitchen, and for some obscure reason, the one day I visited to do this, there was a cone stopping me from going in the kitchen. One of the really cool parts of Doon Castle. Anyway, hi Colorado Range, nice to see you here. We've got Susie also there. So we want to discuss the Clan Lament tomb in Kilfinnan. Let's see. Now you're messing with my knowledge here. So I could talk to you about the Vikings staying there, but maybe not here. I mean, I could talk about Clan Lament and how they fought with the Campbells and the demise of Castle Toward, or Toward Castle. In fact, I know the Lament Commissioner for Scotland, wee Mary, I spoke to her on the phone recently because they were trying to set up a Highland gathering of the Cowell clans, and it was headed by Clan Lament, or Clan Lamont. It's Clan Lament, that's how we say it. And if you go over to where Dunoon is, they've actually got a nice little museum and exhibition. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, Ian. So let's just go. Wouldn't it be great to have a virtual experience where the castle is appointed as it would have been in the medieval era? Well, the best way to do that, Sharon, is to watch Game of Thrones. Probably. It's probably the best way to see how it would have been dressed, because it was the home of a duke after all. Reagan Gordon. Monty Python, was it the part with the Knights of the Round Table? No, it was the part of the whole film. If you watch Monty Python and the Holy Grail, it's everything except for the bit where they go to the, I think it's when they go to that land, where was it, to get Excalibur, and they need to cross the bridge, and they need to say, what is it they need to say? It's like something really silly. They need to say what their favourite colour is or something like that, to get past, and Lancelot gets past first, and some of them get thrown off to an abyss of eternal discomfort. But yeah, I think that's the only place, and they filmed that, I think, was at Castle Stalker. But everything else was pretty much filmed. Oh, Barra. I've got now Barra beach landing behind me. Yeah, what is your favourite colour? See, I remembered. I remembered, Reagan. Lovely Scottish surname you've got there too. Sorry, I'm just going to see, we've got some questions here. Have you visited Arbroath Abbey? Yes, I have. I was there actually in January. Took some pictures as well. But I do go to Arbroath. We've got, sorry, Kate Wallace, James Stewart, brother of Henry Stewart, Lord Methven, hubby of Margaret Tudor, was made captain of Doune Castle, and his son was created Lord Doune in 1570. So yeah, it's still, I mean, it was still used right up until the Jacobite time. But as I was saying before, Doune Castle is not a defensive structure in any way, shape or form. It's more of a grand, it's more of a grand house, medieval style. It has very few things in terms of defences. So you've got a portcullis, and just above the portcullis you've got a little gap, which is where they used to fire potentially bow and arrows. You've also got the wall, the curtain wall as well, which is obviously there for minor defences. But it's not a defensive structure. Its defence is really where it sits in between the two burns, the two rivers. And it's also because of how close it is to Stirling Castle. So they didn't really bother too much with the defences of Doune Castle for that reason. We've just got Dennis here babysitting the grandkids, but hello from Indiana. Hello, Indiana. And Tracy, hold on a minute. Oh, we've got two ladies from Arbroath who live here. Love it, love it. Yeah, no, it was funny because I took my sister to Arbroath and we went down to that restaurant. In fact, if you give me 2 seconds. 2 seconds. What was that restaurant called? I've still got their business card. What was that restaurant? Here it is. Here it is. I've had that in my my wallet for like a week. So you can see it just there. The old Boatyard restaurant. It was actually really nice. And my sister bought a smoky, but as a pie. She bought. I don't know. It was really weird. And the other, there was no like fish and chips or anything because like the one had burnt down or something. I mean, this was just a few months ago, so maybe it's back. Yes, the old Boatyard, that's right. And there was like this like Van Gogh style paintings everywhere. But it was nice. Jean-Philippe, good evening to you as well. So basically, Kate, that was just my comments on Raid Doune Castle. It was still used, but it was an incredibly important place thereafter. The last person of any real credibility was Murdoch. From that moment, it wasn't as important a place to be as grand as what it was intended to be. I suppose that's probably a better way to phrase it. So let's see, a good place to be. So we've got Tyne Castle. It's very beautiful. I don't know, what are we looking at here? Oh,
that's the Sky video.
oh, this is we're now on Skye. We're now on the island of Skye. Walking up the castle ruins there, as you can see, with many other people. Yes, Jean-Philippe, it was a very nice restaurant. So we're now the Broch Biak. So this is an old broch. So we're now going into is it Iron Age?
Always forget.
Bronze Age. Anyway, we'll get it back. This is about 2,000 years old. This broch here. And they're quite fascinating because they're just built with piles of rocks around one another. It is Iron Age.
I think so.
I'm right. I always have to remind myself. There's certain parts of history that I always have to, it's almost like I have to kind of pinch myself or second guess myself.
Yeah, Iron Age.
But yeah, that's that. So, and it's our wee Loch Ness video. So is the beautiful river on Skye. Yes, that would. I think that was a Skye video. Were you seeing that behind me? These are all on our YouTube, so you can just go through some of the videos, and they're all properly titled as well. So I don't know what this one is. That's me on Slainte Beach, I think I was, on Harris. If you guys can see it. It was one of the, or it could have been, actually. No, I think it was Slainte. No, it's not. It's no, it's Slainte. Slainte. Yeah, that's Slainte Beach. And remember, sometimes these beaches all start to merge into one, especially when you've been to as many beautiful beaches as I have across the Scottish Hebrides. It's not actually my favourite. Tracy, my favourite is actually the one on Lewis. It's Ardsoil Sands, which is by the little hamlet of Uig. So if you ever get a chance to go there, it's great. Kate, Nessie only comes out if you've got cheese in your pocket. No problem, Reagan. Don't worry about it. Francine just asked if the water I'm just going to turn this now because you're just going to have to deal with it because I think you guys are missing out on this amazingness. The water sometimes, oh, now we're back on Skye, darn it. But the water is actually warm enough. I've had a guest who actually went swimming, and I had to hold all her clothes while she went in. I was like, "You're mental, woman." But no, we're back on the island of Skye, so I haven't made this wee video. That's down at the ferry pools. Still at the ferry pools. That's the Black Coolin Ridge behind. Still. Talisker Distillery. You can just see it. Jean-Philippe says it's too cold. You'd be surprised. It's actually not so bad. It's not too cold. See if you have, like, I went surfing. I was in the water in Barra. Fair enough, I had a wetsuit on, but even like my hands and my face and stuff, I was fine.
It was the middle of summer.
It was the middle of summer. Well, so was that. That was Mummy. Look at that. Isn't that just amazing? That's down at Nice Point. I took that wee blondie. I took that wee Highland cow. She was my picture. There's the store. You can see the penis. We were talking about that the other day. Tracy, you're right. She just says, I learned to swim in the North Sea. Everything is warm compared to that. I think you're right. This one's you. Do you mind if I... Because you can't really see you.
No, it's just a whiskey tasting that we did. We had.
So Helmut's done quite a few whiskey tastings in our old unit here. Sadly, I'm just going to go to the next video.
Skipping stones at Doon Castle. There you go.
Here's a nice one. So this is just by Doon Castle, guys.
That's me teaching them how to skip stones because they.
There's Excel there.
There's Excel, yeah.
Teaching we Excel to skim the stones. Neil, oh God, hi Neil. Why was I never part of this fun? I'm never part of this fun. It's literally like 4 of you there. Anyway, so when we were taking over Scotland, but not
watch Excel throw that stone. Watch, it's terrible.
Oh. As I said, hi Excel. Bonsoir. So yeah, Francine. So yeah, I think what we're going to have to do is, I think Ian, I didn't want to go into it because I think I don't know enough about the specifics of Clan Lamont to know about that, if there's any story about that particular tomb. But what I will do is I will check. We're going to do a live chat anyway here on between myself and Agave O'Brien. I think we could do one specifically on Argyll, and hopefully we can answer any questions, especially on the cowl route, because that's his specialty. So if there's anything sort of cowl related, I do tend to pass it to him anyway, because I can't know everything, right? No, I'm kidding. So I'm going to get him to organise a special Argyll edition. So if you're interested, as I said, in the Gaelic language, if you're interested in obviously tidbits from Outlander, because he was obviously the consultant for Outlander, the Gaelic consultant for Outlander, and he's also the chap who comes along on my special tours, the Hebrides and the Mull tour. So we might be discussing some of that. So if anybody's interested in those tours, we'll go into it. But we will make an emphasis on Argyll. So if you have any specific questions about Argyll, so that one, Ian, please mark it so I don't forget, mark it. And then remember to bring it and to raise it, because he'll probably know quite a bit. He does a lot with the clans history. So he was doing some stuff for obviously the Campbell clan, the Lamants, the Lachlan's, all these guys he does a lot of work for, and kind of translates a lot of their transcripts and things in the Gaelic, so or manuscripts I should say. So if you have any questions, that's probably when I would bring it up. We'll do a full feature on Argyll with Agave, and we're going to call it Argyll Socks just because it's hilarious. So, Sharon, you'd love to hear about Orkney, and I suppose you mean Shetland. Hi guys, I'm just going to let you watch Helmut behind me there. It probably is not the best. I'm trying to go through our videos, and you've got Graham there. Here's a young lassie doing Irish dancing in front of Kilchurn Castle.
She was one of the top.
She was over in Scotland performing, I believe, or was it Ireland? Anyway, it was something like that. Francine, you've just asked, is that a portrait of me? It is not. This was debated on Saturday night already. It's not. It was a picture that Helmut painted of somebody whom I don't know. It was just some magazine girl, and he painted her, and then it started looking wrong. So that, Helmut, you've done so many whiskey videos. It's great though. It's Lefroy. I love these whiskey videos though. He's done, look at all these videos. You've got so much. Okay, so let's go and watch.
This is Salachi Trail.
The Salachi Trail.
You don't want to hear the Battle of Bannockburn. Well,
The Battle of Bannockburn. Helmut's also got some stuff there. Sorry, I had a short visit to Orkney, Scarabray. There is a ruins across from the church. Yes, so any Orkney chat will see. I might get my wee pal Chris. So if you're interested in Shetland or Orkney, I'm going to get my wee pal Chris Matthews maybe to do a wee chat with you all, or Josephine, or one of those guys, because they are from Orkney, and therefore, or they work and they are guides on Orkney. So I think it'll be best for them to do that with you. I tend to stick to mainland in the Western Isles Scottish history. So let's just see. So Patrick, you are very welcome. The footage behind me now is just Helmut was doing we did the My Peak Challenge event in 2017, and we had quite a lot of helpers that we needed to employ, and who are going to be on that route to assist the hikers and the guides who are going up. So Helmut made this little video so that people, because we had people, there's just not enough guides and people locally that could help us, especially because I had people up here in the Greenock Cuts. We had people going up with Helmut up the Cobbler. That's actually where most of our resources went. But we had people coming here, and our guides and helpers that were doing this route were actually from Inverness. So they came all the way down from Inverness to help us. There we go. So they came all the way down from Inverness to help us out with this particular hike. So Helmut made this video. So you can, at the time it was private, so no one else could get access unless you were one of the guides. But now you can go and see it, and it's good fun. He shows you about the walk and the hike. So it's a good hike that we actually like to take our groups and our guests. It's near Loch Lomond, so this is you get really wonderful views of Loch Lomond, and you walk through an old abandoned Highland style township village. So that's quite cool as you go along the path. This is what I'm missing now, guys, you know that. And I know that we're all doing this for a reason, but just to be able to go up there right now, it's just, I think I'm going to have a wee, as soon as the lockdown's done and as soon as it's safe to do so, you will find me in the hills. Don't you think, Annie?
That was an unbelievable trail, and it's easily
done. It's a really lovely trail, actually.
But muddy.
And muddy, and lots of history and folklore there as well. So there you go. Sharon just says, stayed at Loch Lomond and put my toes in the loch, a little cold. Well, Sharon, I have witnessed people swimming in Loch Lomond at last, just from the cabins in December. Do you remember that?
No, that's what they do there.
It's
that
just
club. They do that
crazy,
crazy. From one island to
it's just crazy nonsense that you see them, and it's just absolutely mental. Because one lady had the full wetsuit and one lady didn't have anything, so it was just mental. So I think that gives us a good idea of the next topics we're going to have. So I'm going to do a topic, my own topic I'm going to do by myself will be of Mary Queen of Scots, and like I said, we're going to do another one on the Border Reivers, and this is the wee village you see Helmut's walking through now, and then we're going to do some other things. So I'm just going to say goodbye to Instagram just now. Bye, thanks for watching. It was just a bit mental on Instagram tonight. Well, we're going to get that live with Agava, and we'll get one with Josephine and or Chris. I'll see if I can beg them beg them to do it for me, because I think you would really learn a lot. And then for me though, I'm all about the kings and queens and monarchs and culture of Scotland. So if you've got any questions about that, there you go. And Kate, yes Kate, a border reaver, because you're, well, close enough to the border. And on the other side though, and Mary Queen of Scots. So if you're interested in Mary Queen of Scots, do tune in, because she's one of my, I wouldn't say my favourites, but she's certainly someone that I like to talk about a lot. And you'll actually see I've spoken about her before on these videos, but we'll do another live session just about her, because I know that Jenna had asked me the other night. So tune in on a Thursday night. So we're going to have more of a plan moving forward. We're going to do Friday nights is our ghost story night, and just myths and legends or anything like that. Saturday night is our party night. Sunday night is our reflection night. Monday night we're going to go over our note on Scottish history. Oh sorry, no, ancestry. Tuesday night we're going to go and show you a little watch party. Wednesday night, what did I do last night? Anyway, I'm going to put out a calendar, right? So let's put a wee calendar, and I'm going to put it in the heading picture on our page, and you can go and see what night, and I will announce the subject the night before, or maybe the week before if we know what we're working for. For those who have sponsored me, we've now got some of the videos ready, so I'm going to be requesting all of your email addresses, and you'll get that special content shortly. I just want to quickly see some extra questions. Well, in comments, Trish, I visited Fotheringhay last year. Amazing, or Fotheringay. I call it Fotheringay. But yes, Sharon, it would be interesting to know what happened to Bruce's wife and sister. Did they really hang outside in cages for a long time? Well, I can answer you that right now, actually. The answer is no. They weren't there for too long. His wife and his sister were transported to a convent, as was Bruce's daughter, and then there was this whole big exchange thing going on. The sad thing is actually about what's her name? What's her blooming name? I've got her surname in my head. Yes, Isabella Macduff. She's the one. She was also captured, and she was taken to it was down to Berwick, and she, with Bruce's sister, she was raised in a cage, and it's believed that she remained there for probably 4 years. We don't know anything else, so it's assumed that she died after that. But I think they should do a film about her, because, you know, you think about the medieval era and women being quite demure. but here is a woman who went against the wishes of her own husband. Her husband was cousin to the Common, and she obviously, Bruce killed Common in the church down at Blackfriars Church down in Dumfries, and so her husband wanted nothing to do with the Bruce, but Isabella, because a Macduff has to crown the King of Scots, it was part of the ritual, she did it, and she crowned the Bruce on one of the days, because it was 2 days, and the second day she crowned him. So she went against her own husband's wishes and crowned the Bruce. I think that's quite special, really. Let me just quickly see. Good. Before we go, I'll quickly mention a nice historical fact that's here. Kate has put in here. 24th of April 1558, Mary Queen of Scots and Francois, or they call him Francis, by the way, in France. I learned that just the other month there. Dauphin of France was married at Notre Dame in Paris. The bride was 15 and her groom was 14. Mary wore a white dress with a long train, causing a stir, as white was the colour of mourning in France. Born by 2 girls, a diamond necklace, a gold coronet studded with jewels, was described by the courtier Pierre de Brantôme as 100 times more beautiful than a goddess of heaven. Her person alone was worth a kingdom. That's lovely, isn't it? But she was a 15-year-old wee lassie, so there you go. And Kate, yes, rumours. Anyway, so I've gone on a lot. Hi to everybody who just came in. Please watch this video back and share it with anyone you think would be interested. With the footage behind us, talking a wee bit about Curis, Doon Castle, also about a little bit tidbit there about Mary Queen of Scots and where we're going to go forward and how we're going to do that. So thank you for joining in. As usual, tomorrow night is ghost story night, so we're gonna have to do something scary for that. I'm gonna come up with some nice Scottish folklore and bogle stories. I think I'm going to come up with, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be good fun. And if you have any questions about anything discussed or want to discuss anything in particular, please let me know. Reagan, it will be the same time. I do it at 10 p.m. and the reason for that is I try to catch people from as many places as possible. So 10 p.m. UK time. So you guys are 8 hours behind us in California. I know that obviously Trish is over in New Zealand, so it's going to be the following morning for you. But hopefully that works. And for us in Scotland, hopefully your kids are in bed and you've got a good chance to have a wee chat. Saturday night's actually going to be a bit of fun because I might try and show you how to do some country dancing, some ceilidh dancing. So if you're all up for a wee ceilidh on Saturday night, that will be a good laugh. So thank you very much. See you all then. 10 p.m. tomorrow. If you have any ghost stories, actually guys, just before I go, if you have any ghost stories, any of my Scottish lassies there from Arbroath, if you have any Scottish related ghost stories, the same to Helen, if you're watching Skelmerley, if you guys have any Scottish related ghost stories, please PM me them if you are happy and confident for me to talk about them for you. It's all about having a wee laugh and a wee scare and, you know, just getting through this lockdown together. So take care, much love, stay safe, love you lots. Mwah.